Hey there, you're listening to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, and MMA on occasion. Here's your host, RJ Carbone.
And a high drive into left center field. Stanley's going to watch another one fly. Are you kidding me? DiVincenzo a three. Bang! Bang! Knicks take a
Take this time to apologize to absolutely nobody.
At the wall. See ya! See ya! See ya! Mr. Nobody. Anthony for three. Bang! That one goes down and the game is tied.
Rose, you shook up the world again.
I did it again. Look, I did it, man. I really just had
Gonna have to. Bronson running away. Oh my! He has been the best player to put on that uniform.
Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
All right. Well, here we are. The Yankees have dropped yet another series. As I'm recording, it's Friday morning, the 27th. So it's a couple of days after the Yankees dropped 2 out of 3 to the Cincinnati Reds. It looked like the Yankees were about to right the ship. You know, they took a series from a pretty hot Baltimore Orioles team last week, you know, taking 2 out of 3. And then they lose the first 2 against Cincinnati before salvaging the series or taking the meaningless third game. So now you look up, and what was once a very large American League East division lead is cut down all the way to 1 game in the loss column and a half game up overall over the Tampa Bay Rays. And not only are the Tampa Bay Rays coming, but you look at this division and, you know, people were not long ago calling it a terrible division, including myself, or, you know, mediocre and not really serious. And all of a sudden you got 4 teams who could be considered playoff contenders. Even without Devers, Boston's still existing. You got Toronto coming up this week. So the Yankees have some work cut out for them, and they need to get hot, and they need to do it right now. I'm not a believer in this June slump. I refuse to use the term that Yankees fans like to use because I think it's silly. I think it's random that it happens every year. I don't think it's coincidence. I just think it's part of baseball, and it happens to be sometime in June when they go through these slumps. But they still need to get it together. Excuse me. And we're going to talk about this series. We're going to talk about what needs to happen, what's been happening, and such. So, with that all said, let's dive into the first game of this series against the Cincinnati Reds in Cincy, where the Yankees dropped 2 out of 3. This first game took place on, Monday? Why are we lagging? I swear, if I can't get through this, I've already tried to record 4 times last night. The tablet was choppy. It wasn't smooth. So I turned my tablet off for the night, said I'll do it in the morning, and if it's still giving me problems, I might just chuck this thing out the fucking window and get a new one. Really starting to piss me off. Anyways, Monday the Yankees take a 6-1 loss. This was a game to forget against the Rays. You had the righty Alan Winans pitching, some random cashier the Yankees picked up off the scrap heap earlier this year, going up against the young lefty Nick Lodolo, and the Yankees scored just 1 run in this game. 8 hits, 4 extra base hits, just 1 walk to 13 strikeouts, and they were 0 for 12 with runners in scoring position, which is something we're going to discuss in this show. Against Lodolo himself, they got 1 run in 4 1/3, and that run came in the top of the first when Judge went deep, and that was it. They didn't score the rest of the game, so Lodolo goes 4 1/3. The Yankees go no runs in 4 2/3 against the Cincinnati Pen. Judge finishes 1 for 3 with the home run, also walks. Dominguez goes 2 for 4, and Bellinger goes 3 for 4, couple of doubles, and that was your offense. Alan Winans goes 4 1/3 innings, 4 runs, 5 hits, no walks, 1 strikeout, 2 hit batters, gives up a home run, throws 62 pitches, takes the loss. I have to say, I am not impressed with this guy. Just by the eye test, he seems like another soft thrower. And unless you can spin the ball exceptionally well, like Will Warren or Clark Schmidt, I don't really care about your off speed, about his slider and his changeup that are supposed to be plus pitches. He's a soft thrower, and when you combine soft throwing and poor location, which is what you got from Winans in this start, that is a recipe for absolute disaster. And in the bottom of the 4th inning, Alan Winans left 3 89-mile-an-hour fastballs in the middle of the plate to surrender the Yankee lead. First, it was Ellie De La Cruz with an RBI triple off a 4-seam middle. Then it was Steer with a 100-mile-an-hour sac fly that he took to the outfield off of a sinker up, put Cincy up 2-1. And then it was Gavin Lux, the rookie, hitting a solo home run off of a sinker to make it 3-1 Reds. So that was it for Winans. After 4 1/3, he left, and the bullpen came in and pitched a combined 3 2/3, 2 runs. So they weren't good as well. Hamilton got the 5th and 6th, was not sharp. Bottom 5, he relieves Winans in a situation where he comes in. He's got 1st and 3rd, 1 out. He walks McLean because he lost the zone with his 2-seam. And here we go again with my fucking screen starting to lag. You know what? This might have to be an audio-only episode because I'm going to lose my shit if this keeps happening. And I have no idea why it keeps happening. Give me 1 second here. Yeah, you know what? We're doing audio only here. Don't care. Let's fucking... I'm not dealing with this shit today. Okay. Well... This is what we're doing. We're doing audio only, and we're going to try to get video in when we can. Hamilton leaves the 5th. It's a 4-1 game. Bottom 6. Pitches a scoreless inning. You know, he does let up the 1-out double to Stevenson, but he gets Jose Trevino to pop up. And then he strikes out Fraley looking. Bottom 7, he gets one more guy before Hill comes in for the left-on-left matchup. He gets Encarnacion to strike out swinging on a slider. So Hamilton goes 2 innings, no runs, 1 inherited run, 3 base runners were put on, strikes out 2. Tim Hill gets the 7th and 8th. He gets Friedel to ground ball, but ground balls find holes. Ends up being a single to Judge, but then he gets McLean to hit a ground ball double play and escapes the 7th inning there. Bottom of the 8th, Tim Hill doesn't usually give up home runs because he's keeps the ball on the ground type of guy. He throws that sinker. Gives up a solo shot to Ellie De La Cruz to put Cincy up 5-1. That's when he gets pulled for Mark Leiter. So Hamilton wasn't good. Hill goes 2/3 of an inning, 1 run, 2 hits. He wasn't good. Leiter comes in the bottom of the 8th. He wasn't good. He gives up a leadoff single to Steer. Then Trevino picks up the infield single. It was really a really bad play by Anthony Volpe. Should have been an error. But since he goes up 6-1 after that. So Leiter's final line, 1 inning, 1 run, 2 hits, and a strikeout. And so that was your score, your final score on Monday, 6-1. And then you get to Tuesday's game. The Reds take this one 5-4 in extras. Goes 11 innings. The lefty Rodon against the righty Chase Burns. The young, up-and-coming Cincinnati ace. The Yankees go and score 4 runs on 7 hits, 5 singles, 2 walks, 13 strikeouts. They go 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position. Against Burns, they get 3 runs on him in 5 innings. The kid's filthy. He struck out the first 5 Yankees I think the first 6 outs were strikeouts. You know, he goes 93-mile-an-hour back foot slider to Grisham, 93. He goes 99 upstairs to Ben Rice to get him. He runs a slider away on Aaron Judge. He gives Bellinger 92-mile-an-hour changeup to swing and miss. But eventually, the Yankees do adjust to Burns' stuff the second time through, and they start hitting him, right? Ben Rice with the big home run, leadoff home run, top of the 4th inning, 427 to right field. He finishes the night 1 for 4 with the home run and a walk. Volpe, after Rice, with a 2-run triple to right field to put the Yanks up 3-0 at the time. Volpe goes 1 for 4, triple, 2 RBIs. Against the Cincinnati Pen, though, the Yankees got just 1 run in 6 innings. That came at the top of the 11th when Judge scored on a wild pitch. So it wasn't even a real run. He goes 1 for 5, Judge. Big pop-up late in the game with the bases loaded. He had a strikeout. Jazz goes 2 for 4. He was ejected, bitching and moaning like he always does. People didn't like it. I really don't care. This is part of the Jazzism experience. As long as you produce, we're cool. But they did need his bat late in the game over LeMahieu, so it did end up hurting them. Peraza goes 1 for 3, stole a base, made some nice plays at third. Bellinger went 1 for 5. Carlos Rodon wasted what could have been a really fun win. 6 innings, no runs, 4 hits, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, no home runs allowed, and unfortunately gets the no decision. He looked really good. I was hoping he would have went back out there for the 7th, but he was pulled at 88 pitches through 6 scoreless. Turns out it's because of the heat. They asked Rodon himself after the game. He said he was gassed. He was kind of just, I guess they're trying to prevent injury in this heat, and whatever. Controversial decision at the time. Didn't love it. Still don't, but I guess when the player says himself, got to kind of take the word for it. But he looked brilliant, man. That changeup has become a really good pitch to Rodon against righties. He's no longer just using it as a get me over change. It's a pitch that he uses as a weapon. It's got some really great drop, and when he complements that pitch and plays it off the fastball or plays it off his sinker, it's good. It changes speeds. It can change directions if he goes to the slider. It's a really good pitch. But a good start from Rodon once again. Continues to be brilliant this year. The Yankee bullpen was the opposite of brilliant once again. 4 innings, 5 runs. You got Jonathan Loaizaga, had a rough outing in the 7th inning. He got ground balls, which is his job. They just found holes. And it was nice to see him start throwing 98-mile-an-hour two-seamers. The velo is starting to tick up a little bit. But he also surrendered a big double down the left field line, and he ended up leaving the game early. I think it was just the heat that got to him. And when he left the game, it was tied 3-3. So his final line, 1/3 of an inning, 3 runs, 4 base runners. He was not good. He's not really been good since being back. Fernando Cruz got the job in the rest of the 7th. Weaver comes in for the 8th. He was very good, throwing 98 again. Hopefully the warmer weather is helping him uptick the velo again. Hopefully that's back because he started throwing hard towards the end of last year too. He was throwing sliders. You never see Luke Weaver mixing sliders. Weaver's usually fastball, changeup, and an occasional cutter. He was throwing some sliders. He was attacking low in the zone. So he goes 1 inning, no runs, 1 hit, 2 strikeouts. Devin Williams gets the 9th. He goes 1, 2, 3, no strikeouts, but he's beginning to earn my trust back. I was kind of hoping they used him in the 10th, but Boone, for whatever reason, is limiting him to 1 inning only. I think he threw 9 pitches. And then Leiter was good in the 10th inning, but not the 11th, right? Bottom 11, surrenders the leadoff single to Ellie De La Cruz to put runners on first and third. And then Steer picks up an RBI single off of a bad sinker, ties the game at 4. Ellie De La Cruz makes just an inexcusable mental error on the bases, not knowing what the score is in the bottom of the 11th. And he doesn't advance the extra base. But it's not like it matters because he Leiter walks Stevenson after losing the zone with all of his pitches to him. And then he gives up the walk-off single to Gavin Lux, sinker middle of the plate, since he wins 5-4. So 1 inning, 2 runs, 4 base runners there for Leiter, takes the loss. And that was your game on Tuesday, where the Yankees, once again, lost 5-4 in 11. On Wednesday, the Yankees finally won. They picked up a 7-1. They cruised to a victory, 7-1 victory. The lefty Fried going up against the righty Singer, who the Yankees usually always get. 7 runs on 13 hits, 6 extra base hits, 5 walks, 12 strikeouts, 4 for 22 in scoring position. 4 runs in 5 innings against Brady Singer. Top of the second, Grisham with an RBI single. Top third, Jazz Chisholm a 2-run home run. Top 5, Volpe a sac fly to put the Yanks up 4-1 against the Cincinnati Pen. Top of the 6th, you have Judge and Stanton with RBIs against the righty. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. Gibaut. It's 6-1 Yankees. Top 9, Wells with an RBI single against the lefty Suter. 7-1 Yanks. A lot of offense in this game. You had Grisham 4 for 6, couple of doubles and an RBI. Judge 1 for 5, an RBI double. Rice 0 for 3, but he walked and also got hit by a pitch. Stanton was 1 for 3, 2 walks and an RBI. Still yet to really find his power stroke. Jazz goes 1 for 5, home run, 2 RBIs. Dominguez, who we'll talk about on this show, 4 for 5, couple doubles, couple stolen bags. Volpe goes 0 for 3 with a walk and a sac fly RBI. Wells goes 1 for 4 with a walk and an RBI. And the Mayhew goes 1 for 5. That was your offense. The Yankee Pen, 2 innings, no runs. Cruz got the 8th, 1 inning, no runs, no base runners, 3 strikeouts. Brubaker got the 9th, 1 inning, no runs, no base runners. And on the mound for the Yankees, before you got to the bullpen, was Max Fried, and that is who we're tipping our cap to start this one off. Max Fried, tipping our cap to him for the 12th time this year. On Wednesday, he goes 7 innings, 1 run, no earned runs. Jazz Chisholm made an error. 4 hits allowed, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts, no home runs allowed, 106 pitches, and he gets another win. I don't know what else there is to say. He's just been absolutely remarkable. This is the best start to a Yankees contract maybe ever. You know, the guy has been the stopper. Every time the Yankees get a loss, he's on the mound. He pitches a gem. They usually win. He's a great pitcher, you know, and he's fun to watch. Even as a guy who is not a strikeout pitcher, which is why he's not going to win the Cy Young, no matter how low the ERA is and all those other numbers. He's still fun to watch despite not getting strikeouts. You know, he gets a lot of soft contact. He gets ground balls. He knows how to get righties out, which is important for a lefty. Goes to those backdoor curveballs. He's been using the cutter more recently. He's a good fielder. The guy's got a glove. He's athletic. He's just been super consistent as a pitcher. The epitome of an ace. You know, without Garrett Cole and Luis Seal, I mean, everybody thought, they were like, all right, this Yankees rotation could still be average, but they're not going to be, you know, what they've been. And you could make a case that this rotation is the best rotation in baseball this year. I mean, between with what Fried is doing, and you throw in Rodon, and if Schmidt continues to pitch to a sub-3 like he's been, and you have Will Warren, who's been a really good back of the rotation guy, really good, man. They have a really good staff, and Max Fried is at the head of it. And he's been so good that the other guys are kind of allowed to fly under the radar and do their thing. So good for Max Fried. This is the 12th time we're tipping our cap to him. It's the most of any Yankee. He's got 12 tips of the cap. Good for him, because this pitching staff has been remarkable this year for the Yankees. And even while the offense has struggled, Max Fried has been able to do his thing, and it's been a blessing. Now, yes, this lineup has struggled mightily. And we're at a point where people are starting to bring up old narratives, right? And it kind of bothers me when I start hearing the same old recycled narratives that we've been hearing for decades now. kind of just like the Aaron Judge complaint. People say it's Judge or nothing, where there is some merit to that, as we've talked about. And there's also the consistency complaint. Oh, they don't score, for these stretches. I think that's dumb because it's baseball and nobody scores 6 every night. But there's another complaint that you're starting to hear resurface. This one is also maybe not dumb. Okay, there might be some merit to this one also, but I do think it's overblown. And that's the one where people are always complaining about the Yankees not being able to score or not being able to win or not being able to play baseball without hitting home runs. So off the bat here, I just want to list some numbers for you to kind of calm people down who think they're home run or bust. The Yankees are 8th in batting average this year. They're 2nd in home runs, but they're also 3rd in doubles and they're 8th in triples. Okay, so that's not exactly home run or bust. They've been scoring a ton of runs with their legs this year. I know they're not always smart on the bases, but they have more athleticism and they're able to advance from first to home, first to third, second to home a lot more than they have in the past. So they're scoring in multiple ways. So no, it's not a home run or bust offense, but let them have one off night like they did on Tuesday or like they've been, a lot lately. And suddenly it's back to that tired old narrative, right? It's just, to me, it's a very lazy analysis that never seems to rest. Now, the Yankees are 23rd out of 30 teams in hitting singles, okay? But guess what? When you're not hitting home runs, what would you rather have the Yankees doing? Hitting singles or hitting doubles and triples, which again, they're top 10 in both of those. So I don't know. And like also in the postseason, it's way more difficult to rack up hit after hit after hit after hit against frontline aces than it is to run into a mistake pitch for a home run. So it's a good thing, not a bad thing. It's a good thing that the Yankees hit a ton of home runs, okay? Home runs are not bad. It's what you're doing in between the home runs. When you're not hitting home runs, what are you doing? And the Yankees being top 10 in doubles and top 10 in triples, that's big because they weren't like that in recent years. So I want to put into context for those big noise outside. Scare the crap out of me. I want to put into context for those incapable of zooming out. I have some numbers here. Now, this is entering Thursday, so it's a game behind. But when the Yankees hit 1 or 0 home runs this season, they're 24-24. Okay? And again, for some context, here are how the other top 5 home run hitting offenses fare in the same situations. The Dodgers are 18-22. The D-backs are 17-28. The Cubs are 21-25. The Angels, 19-26. So the Yankees have the best record there by a decent margin. When the Yankees hit 0 home runs this season, they're 9-12. Okay, it's a .429 win percentage. Here's how the other top 5 home run hitting offenses fare in those situations. The Dodgers are 6-11. That's a .353 win percentage. The D-backs, 7-12, .368 win percentage. The Cubs, 9-14, .391 win percentage. And the Angels are 8-12 with a .400 win percentage. So the Yankees also have the best record there. So in other words, zoom out and apply some logic because you're complaining without comparing it to the field. That doesn't make sense. It's unfair. It's stupid. It's illogical. Home runs have evolved beyond being just a part of baseball. They're now the essence of baseball, whether you like it or not. Pitchers focus on spin and velo because hitters are aiming for launch angle and exit velo. Everyone follows this philosophy. So, if you're dissatisfied with how the Yankees get their offense, it's not because the Yankees are doing something wrong. You just haven't adopted to the modern game yet. Not every offensive slump, not every bad game, etc., needs to be some big picture takeaway. I just think sometimes you need to realize, oh, this is just the era we're in. Everybody kind of runs like this. Now, that all said, yeah, I can admit there are some concerns, and the offensive production has been pathetic the last couple of weeks, which is normal. Every team goes through a pathetic stretch, but there are some big picture takeaways regarding this lineup. Judge needing a Robin, right? We've talked about that. We did last episode. Too many 700 OPS guys in this lineup. We need a guy who's not just decent, but great behind Judge, who is going to be that all-star caliber bat behind Aaron Judge. Between Jazz and Bellinger and another lefty like Rice to split up Judge and Stanton, that's important, right? I think Bellinger's got to be that guy. Because if you're bringing in a right-handed relief pitcher to throw sliders to Judge and Stanton, having somebody like Bellinger, who's a lefty, to avoid getting those sliders in that lane, and the difference between Belly and Rice and Jazz is Belly puts the ball in play. He has a two-strike approach. He'll change his swing deep in the count. Jazz and Rice are prone to whiffing. Bellinger can at least produce a productive out if they're bringing in a slider, a righty slider guy to get Judge and Stanton. I think Belly's an important guy. We've seen him be an 800 OPS guy before. That's a big part. So Judge needs a Robin. I think that's a concern. And there are other concerns regarding this lineup that I want to talk about in this episode as sirens go off in the background. Hopefully everybody's okay. I think we're going to talk about on this show, Goldschmidt. Is he really an everyday bat at this point? We'll bring up the Volpe and Wells fall off. We'll bring up the third base right-handed bat, the need for a right-handed bat, hitting with runners in scoring position, one-run games, and extra inning losses. I want to talk about some of this stuff. So when we get back from break here, that's what we'll dive into. Stay with us. Be right back here on episode 879 of BD4. Be right back.
Quick break here, guys. Stay connected with BD4 on social media. Follow us on Instagram and X at BD4Pod, and find us on Facebook by searching BD4. Don't miss out. Join the conversation. Want more BD4? Subscribe to our YouTube channel and never miss an episode. Hit that like button, drop a comment, and share with your fellow fans. Don't forget to ring that bell so you're always the first to know when a new video drops.
All right. Welcome back to the show, episode 879 of the podcast. I appreciate you all tuning into BD4. Yes, the Yankees have been struggling. Even after dropping 7 runs on Thursday, they did not hit well with runners in scoring position. And the night before, they took another bad loss in extra innings, right? And I'm not worried about this situational hitting stuff right now because before this stretch, the Yankees were actually very good situationally. In their first 66 games, they were top 10 in batting average with runners in scoring position, and they were also top 5 in OPS with runners in scoring position. Also, this is a stat I got per Talking Yanks. They were also a top 5 team at moving the runner from second with nobody out or plating the runner from third with less than 2 outs. So before this stretch, they were doing a very good job in manufacturing runs or progressing to get that run in with runners in scoring position. Now, over their last 14 games with runners in scoring position, they've been beyond pathetic. They have a 165 batting average, which is 29th in that span. They have a 17 WRC plus, which is dead last. If you don't know what WRC plus is, it's a stat that combines offense, hitting, and base running. 100 is league average. So if it was an 80 WRC plus, we'd be talking about how bad they've been. It's 17. A 441 OPS, dead last. 26 runs scored, 24th. 29% K rate, which is the third worst, a 195 slug, which is dead last, 0 home runs, 0 sack bunts. It's been bad, okay? It's been really, really ugly, really bad, whatever adjective you want to throw at it. Again, one of the things you hear people say, well, there's slumping and then there's this. No, this is just what a slump is. A slump is bad. This has obviously been happening throughout games in recent weeks, but it's mostly noticeable late in the game and in extras, right? Which is precisely why the Yankees have such a terrible record and their numbers this year are so bad in extra innings. You heard all these stats. You've seen them all on social media. The worst road record since the Manfred runner. And I will say the numbers in the regular season aren't really indicative, in my opinion, of how they'll fare in situational at-bats in the postseason. So, like, while they have a bad record and while they're one for whatever in extras, my concern lies in the consistent patterns that we've seen. How they're consistently poor fundamentally and situationally, right? The Yankees are very bad at executing and playing small ball when they need to and executing the little things and manufacturing and playing baseball in these situations. They're very bad there. So for me, it's not about the stats and the record and all this extra innings stuff. It's not really about the results. Because to be honest, postseason intensity is a whole different animal than exhibition games in June. So it's not about the what, but it continues to be about the how for me, right? The Yankees have an excellent chance to at least come out of the American League again this year, right? They have an elite rotation up front. They have a very well-balanced lineup with many talented hitters too. And they're a very athletic team who can make plays in the field and advance on the bases. And perhaps they have the best back of the bullpen in baseball. But to win a championship, to win it all, they have got to tighten up their fundamentals. I'm talking relay plays. Who's covering what base? Where's the ball being thrown into? Base running plays. Those second and third plays that we've consistently saw. You know, Ben Rice now, most recently, tagging up twice. Situational at-bats. Bunting the runner over in the top of the 10th inning. Finding a fly ball to the left field, to the outfield, to get the guy from third home. But unfortunately, I'm not so sure the Yankees have the manager who seems to really care about that kind of stuff. Or I'm not sure they seem to have the team, the organizational philosophy to really put emphasis on that type of stuff. And that terrifies me, right? I don't really think the Yankees care about extras to an extent that other teams do. I think you listen to the way Boone speaks and you just watch the way he manages. He's talked about it before. He prefers going for the win in extras over trying to plate the tying run. The Yankees seem to prefer to go for the big swing in the top of the 10th inning, try to gap one, try to park one, because that's 2 runs, because they don't want it. They don't want to just tie it and then extend it to another inning and all of a sudden you're burning 5 relief pitchers in a 14-inning game. I'm not saying that's the right way. I think that's the way they're thinking about it, and I think that's why they're not playing small ball in these moments. So that's why I'm not totally concerned about that type of stuff, because I do think when push comes to shove in the postseason, you'll see somewhat of a different approach. Now, it doesn't hurt to get reps in and have these guys practice this type of stuff. I agree. But overall, I do think the Yankee lineup has been better this year in terms of scoring without the home run. And like we mentioned at the very top of this segment that we're in right now, they're top 10 in batting average, homers, doubles, and triples. So I can't really kill them too much. I want to go back to the mound when we return from break because I do want to praise one of my favorite players on the team this year. So we'll do that in a sec. We'll be right back.
Love BD4 but don't have the time to sit down and watch? Don't forget to subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify so you never miss an episode. And if you're enjoying the show, leave us a 5-star rating and a quick review. It helps us grow and keeps the conversation going.
Okay. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to episode 879 of the podcast where the Yankees need to figure this shit out. But we got a really nice outing, and we continue to get really nice showings from this Yankee reliever, and that's why I'm going to tip my cap
Love
to
BD4 but don't have the time to sit down and watch?
That was the wrong thing to press. And that's why I'm going to tip my cap to fucking Fernando Cruz. Tipping my cap to Cruz for the 6th time this year. In this series, he appeared in games 2 and games 3. 1 2/3 innings, no runs, 3 strikeouts, no hits, no walks, no base runners. On Tuesday, he comes in, gets 2 ground ball outs to escape a jam in the 7th. On Wednesday, he strikes out the side. And it was almost an immaculate inning. Just complete dominance. He gets Encarnacion to strike out swinging on 3 pitches. He goes forkball for a called strike. Forkball in the dirt for a swing and miss. And he goes forkball low and in to strike him out. Then he gets Espinal to strike out swinging on 5 pitches. 95 down the plate. Fouled off for strike 1. Forkball on the outer edge for a swing and miss. Then he goes 2 forkballs out of the zone, low and away to even the count 2-2. But he goes back to his 95. He goes up and in to get the swing and miss strike 3. And then it's Friedel who steps up to the plate, strikes out swinging on 3 pitches. 94 up and in for a called strike. Forkball below the zone for a swing and miss. Forkball low and away for a swing and miss. His location with that forkball has been incredible. You know, it's got great movement. It's got such little spin, which is what makes it a forkball, really. And all that stuff, the drop off in velocity, it's got all that. But the fact that he commands that pitch so exceptionally is what makes it incredible. He can go out of the zone with it, but he's able to locate it so well that he can pitch it in the zone and not be bitten. He can go high in the zone with the forkball and drop it in for a strike and get a swing and miss. It's such an important pitch for him. And the fact that his fastball is working makes it that much better, but he can locate it. And that's what's impressed me the most. This guy's been awesome. There's a reason he leads the American League. I think he leads all of baseball, relief pitching and strikeouts and in K rate. He's been awesome. He's got, let's see, pull up the numbers if we can. He's got 53 strikeouts in 32 innings this year. It's awesome. This was a move, and I know Trevino's hitting well right now through 40 games. It was a heist. It was the heist of the century. The Yankees totally dominated this trade. A light-hitting backup catcher with a noodle of an arm for a ridiculously talented off-speed specialist. No, we're good. We won this trade. It's awesome what Fernando Cruz has done. Now, I still want to see what he looks like second time through the league, as certain lineups face him a second time, because when you're in the postseason, you will be playing 5-game series, 7-game series. But so far, he has passed with flying colors. So I tip my cap to Fernando Cruz for the 6th time this year. And while we're tipping our caps, let's go to the position players. And I think the best position player of this series, the Martian, Jasson Dominguez. Jasson Dominguez won 6 for 10 this series. 2 doubles, 4 singles, 1,400 OPS, scored 2 runs, stole 2 bases. Second time this year, we're tipping our cap to him. He continues to get on base. The 341 on base percentage looks good. Only has a 396 slug. So that's usually the opposite for a rookie, right? When young hitters come into the game, it's usually they're not getting on base a ton because they're swinging out of their shoes and they're hitting for a lot of power. With Dominguez, it's been the opposite. It's been an unspectacular but solid rookie season for him. When you look at the 25 qualified rookies this season, Dominguez ranks 9th in on-base percentage, 1st in walks, 7th in RBIs, 5th in extra base hits, and 2nd in stolen bases. So he's doing some dynamic things on the field. The power is not there yet, but when you look at his top-notch speed, if he's getting on base like this, where the last 8 games he's got a 522 on-base percentage, he is super valuable. It's not just the stolen bases, but it's him advancing extra bases and stealing runs. He legged out a double on Wednesday night in one of his final at-bats. He's done that a lot this year, where he's picking up hits and a lot of guys get singles, and he's going to turn it into a double. A lot of guys will get doubles. He'll turn it into a triple. His speed is so valuable. So if he's getting on base like this consistently, 341, you're going to start to see more positive results. Plus, the power is going to come. That's his calling card. The reason Dominguez was a top 1 prospect in this system since he was 16, 17 years old was because of his power. So when that power does come along, and I think it will, that's a different world of good. But so far, yeah, we've seen some good, we've seen some bad, we've seen some ugly, but we've seen slightly more good than bad in my opinion. I think he's had trouble in left field. He's made some tough reads. He's a lot of the time overly conservative out there. I think he made that dumb base running error at Fenway Park. And he is a little boomer bust at the plate, right? When you look at the metrics, that kind of supports that. A very high hard hit percentage, exit velo is below average. A very high walk rate, chase rate's very bad. Ton of extra base hits, low batting average, at least up until recently. I know we got it up over 250 now. He's mashing as a lefty, struggling as a righty. Again, the power will come. I do wish he would lift the ball a little bit more. Maybe that comes with tweaks in his swing to get a better launch angle, would lead to less ground balls, less pop-ups, more line drives and fly balls. But I think he's been solid, and I think to help him become more consistent, I think he needs to play a lot more than he does. It's hard for young players to find all-star level success, which is where we eventually want to be with him, if they're not playing every day. Right? And I get it, obviously. Trent Grisham's been great. Bellinger has to play every day too. You can't fault Boone for this. The outfield has been really great in production. But you do wish Dominguez did see more than, 2 of every 3 games. Sometimes he's only playing once a series. And you're seeing improvements for sure. You're seeing improvements as a right-handed bat. In his first 41 plate appearances as a righty, he was batting .083 with a 381 on OPS. A 381 OPS. In his last 39 plate appearances as a righty, he's 324 with an 855 OPS. So, first half terrible, second half very good. On breaking balls and off-speed pitches, he's improved. Against off-speed this year, 292 batting average, 375 slug, 490 expected slug. Against breaking balls this year, 213 average, 413 slug, 466 expected slug. He's got the highest hard hit percentage in baseball on low breaking balls. So, somebody who's been touted as a dead red fastball hitter in the past, and I've called him one this year. It's good to see some life against off speed. The fact that he's not just hitting fastballs this year tells me, okay, maybe he can hit major league pitching. So I do like what I've seen about halfway through the season here from Jasson Dominguez. If I were to give him a grade, I would say B-. I think that would be fair. Another topic here that I want to kind of transition to, not very smoothly, but Paul Goldschmidt has been really struggling for a while now. He's stopped hitting. You know, this is a guy who was hovering around 350 for most of the season. Really 2 months there. But he stopped hitting this month. The power has been zapped. The consistency has fallen off a cliff. Now, he had a 600 batting average against left-handed pitching for a bit there. So that was bound to regress. That's just normal. But I do think we're now at a point where he should be, just because of his age, in a platoon with Ben Rice. I think Ben Rice has bounced back nicely after his slump, and he should be the guy that gets the majority of the reps. He should be hitting right-handed pitching, and then you throw Goldschmidt out there against left-handed pitching. You know, Ben Rice is your young first baseman of the future. Maybe he's going to catch, but the metrics are very, very good. Everything is up there in the metrics. So even when he was slumping, the indicators were there that it was going to turn around because he consistently hits the ball hard. He's got a good approach. He's the better hitter right now than Goldschmidt. His power is way too valuable to not play every day. Goldschmidt is older. He's slowing down. He's not great versus velocity. He's not been hitting the ball super hard. He's not great against right-handed pitching. He's really bad against right-handed pitching. I think the more Ben Rice plays, the better it is for the Yankees, and the better it is for Ben Rice's trade value, right? Because let's be honest, the Yankees have, as we've discussed, one too many good hitters, and it's going to be hard to play these rotations in the lineup so consistently and get the best out of everyone. And I think that the Yankees could definitely use one of these guys that they have as an expendable and move them for another all-star caliber bat. Because I do think the Yankees still need one more all-star, borderline all-star type bat. It's a very deep lineup. It is. It's a deep lineup. It's got a guy in Judge who's producing outstanding MVP production. You're getting very good production from Grisham, from Chisholm, from Rice. And maybe, you know, someone like Grisham will fall off, but you have Bellinger, who's not exactly jumped off the page yet, who's been a productive bat before, who could be, again, that 800 OPS type guy. The bottom of the order bats are the question right now, right? DJ LeMahieu and Peraza, kind of unserious, with Wells and Volpe kind of been average-ish at the plate, but slumping hard right now. Right, Volpe has not been productive in the last 2 weeks. The very same time last year, he started falling off a cliff too, mid-June. We're seeing weak at-bats, weak contact, high K rates. The power's not been there. He's walking less and less, which is usually the big indicator. Out of 24 qualified major league shortstops this year, he's 21st in batting average, 15th in OPS, and 6th in strikeouts. That's bad, bad, and bad. The things that are keeping me interested with Volpe right now and just having me hang by a thread and just want to see how this thing plays out, it's the much improved chase rate this year. He has not been chasing nearly as much as he had in his first 2 seasons, and I do think that's important. So that has led to overall more walks, right? He's 9th in walks among the 24 qualified major league shortstops. He's also 4th in RBIs, and he's 2nd in doubles, and he's 1st in triples. But point being, that hasn't been there lately, and he's been struggling pretty bad with the deadline approaching in just a month. And Wells, same thing. He's really had a tough season outside of one small stretch not long ago. Wells has not been great this year. He's chasing a lot more, which is leading to less walks, and it's leading to that very low 279 on base percentage. In extras the other day, he had that bat where he swung at a pitch above his head. You know, like, he's the type of guy, you look at his swing, when he makes contact, it goes a long way, and it's a hard hit, and it's gapped, and it's nice. It looks good. But he's got launch angle in his swing. His swing's built for home runs, right? It's not built for batting average. He's that type of hitter. He will miss the high pitch because of his bat path. He's a low ball hitter. He's also not hitting right-handed pitching this year, which is very odd. You know, how it's completely flipped from last year. Last year, he wouldn't even play at the beginning of the season if a lefty was on the mound because it was so bad. This year, he's got an 873 OPS against left-handed pitching and a 621 against righties. So, point being, what I'm saying here is, yeah, the Yankees, I think, need one more high OPS bat. And I think Eugenio Suarez, if Arizona decides to sell, is the guy I'm looking at. You know, what would that take? Is it going to take a Ben Rice? Is it going to take a Jasson Dominguez? Is it going to take a lot less since Eugenio Suarez is a guy who's on an expiring deal? I don't know. Will he even be sold? I don't know. But I do think one more really good bat would make me much more confident in this Yankees team. And that's where I kind of want to end this show and wrap it up there. But easy to say that right now with this lineup struggling. If they can get hot again, we'll see. There's a lot of baseball left to be played. We are halfway through the year, not even. So, up next for the Yanks, you're home for 3 against the Oakland Athletics or the Sacramento A's. They're coming to the Bronx for 3, so it'd be nice to sweep a team. It's been a while. We'll see what happens. But with that said, let's head to our final break and get back in just a few seconds to wrap it up with our trivia question of the day.
Want everything BD4 in one place? Head to our website at BD4blog.com. You'll find links to every podcast platform, social media, and even our blog, where we dive deeper into all things BD4. Check it out now and stay connected.
Okay. Welcome back to the show. Let's wrap this one up here with our trivia question, and that will be that. Let's get to it. All right. So, for this episode in 879 here, our trivia question of the day. Paul O'Neill was selected to 5 All-Star games in his career. How many were with the Yankees and how many with the Reds? All right. Paul O'Neill was selected to 5 All-Star games in his career. How many with the Yankees? How many with the Reds? Let me know the answer. Appreciate you all tuning in as I always do. And yeah, you got Yanks A's coming up next. Hopefully this, if not a sweep, is a series win because the Yankees really need to start figuring this thing out. Appreciate you all, and I'll see you very, very soon. Later. Well, if you made it this far, that means you listened to or watched the entire episode. Thank you. Just remember to follow, subscribe, download, rate and review, and all that fun stuff to help out the podcast, and I will see you in the next episode of BD4.